TLDR Learning presents The Schlieffen Trap, when strategy outsmarts itself. The blueprint of doom. In 1905, a single gas lamp trembles above a desk in Berlin. Count Alfred von Schlieffen leans over a continent pinned to wood, the whole of Europe flattened beneath his hands. France flares crimson on the western edge. Russia stretches pale and cold to the east, and between them Germany lies like a heart clamped in iron. He adjusts his spectacles, studies the rivers and rail lines, and feels the pulse of danger throb beneath the paper. The smell of tobacco and ink thickens the air. His pencil moves with the precision of surgery, slow, inevitable, without hesitation. He draws an immense curve sweeping through Belgium, curling behind Paris and slashing south toward the Loire. The line looks elegant, almost kind. It is neither. Every stroke is a law. March here, turn there, crush swiftly. He writes the timings in the margin. Railway schedules, bridge crossings, minutes shaved from miles. War to him is not courage, but geometry. If Russia needs 6 weeks to wake its armies, Germany must destroy France in 4. The plan is mathematics wearing a uniform. There is no room for mercy. There is barely room for weather, only velocity. He pauses, listening to the clock. Each tick is a heartbeat, each tock a warning. "Keep the right wing strong," he murmurs, sealing the doctrine in 7 quiet words. The officers around him nod. They see perfection, not prophecy. Outside, the city glows faintly in snowlight, unaware that a century has just been drawn in graphite. Schlieffen steps back, exhales, and knows he has turned time itself into an ally, or believes he has. Years pass. The lamp goes out. In 1913, he dies whispering that same sentence. Then, a summer later, an archduke falls in Sarajevo, and the continent erupts along the fault lines he once traced with steady fingers. Helmuth von Moltke the Younger, his cautious successor, unrolls the map and feels the ghost of his predecessor at his shoulder. He follows the curve with his eyes until it reaches the channel and back again. There are no notes about civilians, no spaces for doubt. The plan is pure logic, dangerous precisely because it is flawless. July 1914. Rail yards thunder with life. 11,000 trains wait under plumes of smoke, their engines panting like beasts about to run. 2 million men stand ready, uniforms crisp, songs rehearsed. Mothers wave flags, bands play. Coal dust drifts like dark confetti. Each engine is numbered, each minute spoken for. The first whistle sounds and the ground trembles as the cars begin to move westward. One by one they vanish into night. Steel following steel, prophecy becoming sound. In every carriage, soldiers believe the same comforting lie. That order can conquer chaos if the handwriting is neat enough. In his study, Moltke watches the smoke rise beyond the city, reflected in the window like black lightning. He does not celebrate. He understands that the plan is a wheel without a brake, and that once it begins to turn, it will not stop until it grinds through every name written on it. Far away, Belgium sleeps beneath its neutral treaties, unaware that destiny has already redrawn its borders in pencil. The map Schlieffen left behind is about to be tested against blood, and paper, unlike men, never screams. The march through Belgium. In August 1914. Morning unfolds across the Meuse like a pale flag, and the German army moves with the confidence of a clock beginning its day. Columns stretch from horizon to horizon. Bayonets glinting, drums thudding in pulse with the railed timetables officers keep folded in their coats. Belgium's fields glitter with dew and disbelief. The soldiers march as if they are the visible gears of a machine whose mind resides somewhere far away in Berlin. Precision itself has become a doctrine. Hesitation, the only heresy. At Liège, the machine meets stone. Belgian forts, low and square against the river fog, spit flame through steel teeth. The air fills with the smell of concrete and blood. German infantry, trained for movement, collide with immovable walls and learn that numbers do not bleed for you. The forts hold for days that the timetable had not budgeted. Trains stall, bridges burn, horses collapse under the weight of perfect plans. Every hour lost is an invisible enemy. Inside his field car, Moltke feels his inheritance become a burden and repeats Schlieffen's dying words like penance. Keep the right wing strong. To keep it strong, he weakens everything else. Reinforcements peel from the center to feed the flank that must never fail. Messages shuttle back and forth, their certainty thinning like smoke. When Liège finally falls, its ruins glow orange against the evening, and the German army resumes its march, slower now, haunted by the realization that the world is not a diagram. Belgium is a country again, not a corridor, and it is angry. Britain joins the war on a scrap of paper signed in 1839. The news travels across the channel on radio waves and salt wind, then into Moltke's tent like an unwanted ghost. The empire that commanded the seas has chosen to defend a postage stamp of land. He does the math and knows what it means. Every road west now leads toward an island's wrath. Yet the machine cannot pause. Each mile consumed demands another. Orders echo like drums in an empty hall. Forward, always forward. Villages vanish under artillery. Orchards catch fire and burn like lanterns for the dead. Civilians run along the roads carrying whatever proof of life they can hold. A pot, a child, a clock still ticking. A sergeant writes in his journal that the sun looks like a shell burst stuck in the sky. The machine marches through ruins of its own making and calls it progress. By the first week of September, the spine of the army has grown thin. Boots rot, horses die where they stand, and the right wing, the wing that must stay strong, is so stretched it can feel the weight of its own ghost. The Marne lies ahead, shining like a mirror that will show the truth no one asked to see. In Paris, the church bells sound not for faith, but for movement. Taxi drivers abandon their fares, load soldiers into back seats, and race toward the front under headlights that slice fog into narrow futures. History will call it the miracle of the Marne, but miracles are just timing without permission. When the counterattack arrives, it feels less like a battle than a change in weather. The German advance slows, hesitates, then flows back east. Moltke sits in his tent listening to reports that crumble as they are read. He has followed the plan to the letter and discovered the letter was a trap. He writes a single sentence to his Kaiser. The plan has failed. Outside, rain begins to fall. The first soft thing in a war built from steel. The trap closes. In September 1914. The Marne flows slow and brown through a valley of exhausted men. The German army, stretched thin as parchment, edges backward across fields once promised to history. What began as a sprint has become an argument with mud. Trenches appear overnight, carved by hands too numb to count. They are shallow at first, shelters against bullets. Then deeper, homes against time. Within weeks, they become the shape of the war itself. Narrow, unmovable, endless. Moltke rides the line and says little. His eyes flicker across faces that once sang of victory. He knows the war they trained for is gone, replaced by one that feeds on patience. The Schlieffen plan, had been built for precision. This new war runs on corrosion. Telegraph wires droop with rain. Orders arrive days late or not at all. Somewhere between Paris and the Rhine, the great idea of motion dies. At headquarters, the maps begin to stiffen. Arrows that once curved in grand sweeps now lie flat, hemmed by trenches that refuse to yield. The dream of a quick war, of calculation made flesh, has turned to arithmetic of loss. Ammunition by the crate, men by the thousand, inches by the month. The world tilts from speed to stagnation, from thunder to rot. Germany will never be the same. Neither will anyone else. Autumn brings a strange quiet. Soldiers write letters they cannot send, poems on scrap paper, jokes carved into the wood of rifles. Mud swallows everything: boots, memory, ambition. A corporal notes in his diary, "We fight the clock now." It wins every day above the lines, crows circle where cavalry once rode. Even they seem to have learned the schedule. In Berlin, Moltke faces the Kaiser for the last time. "Your Majesty," he whispers, "we have lost the war." The words sound absurd. It is only September, but he is not speaking of nations. He means the war of precision, the one that could be measured, timed, and mastered. The Schlieffen Plan is dead, and in its decay, a new kind of war is born. One that feeds on uncertainty, one that will swallow generations. By winter, the trenches stretch from the North Sea to Switzerland. Europe has divided itself with a ruler and then fallen into the line it drew. The men no longer ask when they will go home. They ask whether home still exists. Behind them, the blueprint that promised control gathers dust in a Berlin cabinet, its paper yellowing like surrender. Time has reclaimed its throne. The machine built to outrun history has discovered the oldest truth in the world, that history cannot be outpaced, only endured. When the guns finally fall silent, the line on Schlieffen's map will still scar the earth, visible from the air like an unhealed wound. Every empire that follows will study that scar and believe they can do better. None of them will. Thank you for watching TLDR Learning. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. There is real research and a team of people working together to bring you these videos. We hope you enjoy them as much as we did making them. Check our channel for more content like this. See you in the next one.